Hi everyone, how are you today? Another live stream. Before I continue or start, let's just check that you guys can hear me well. And I will start with the video. Let's see something over here. Yeah, I guess you guys can hear well. Okay, so how are you doing? Tomorrow we have a big day in the market, by the way. CPI report is coming out. Inflation, for those who don't know, numbers are coming out. The expectations are that, at least my expectations are that inflation is basically slowing down. And if inflation is slowing down, we might see some relaxed Fed, Federal Reserve. They try to control the economy by the money supply. They try to control the economy by increasing rates, decreasing rates, and by increasing reserve requirements for different banks. So basically, if we see disinflationary pressures, let's call them, or a pivot in inflation or peak inflation, we might get, less aggressive Fed. If we get less aggressive Fed, it means that we have a pivot in policy. And if we have a pivot in policy, the markets might take it in a good way. They might rally. But you can never know what the market will actually do, because you can never know. You can never know how the market will interpret these results. So, by the way, a lot of earnings came out today. One of them is Coinbase, as you can see over here. The stock is down 5.5% after hours. They missed analyst expectations both on revenue and earnings, by the way. So every traded company, each quarter they release their earnings results, and they tell us actually how they did the last 3 months. And Coinbase didn't do very well, as you can see over here. The stock slumped, and it fell also 10% during the day, so mainly 15%. Man, the stock got obliterated throughout the whole year. If you take a look over here, from 353, which was, I guess, the all-time high. No, the all-time high was 368. You can see it over here. So, but I guess it closed the day at 357. The stock already down 75%. At the bottom, it was down 85%. Nah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, let's go through the results. Let's see what they reported. Actually, I didn't go through the results, by the way. I didn't see what happened with Coinbase. I just opened the Coinbase Investor Relations. By the way, if you write the name of the company, I don't know if you know that, and you type Investor Relations, you get straight to the Investor Relation page of the company. Over there, you can see everything about the company. You can see the latest events. You can see the second quarter 2022, and you see the date is October 9th, which is today, where they basically released their earnings. Let's see the press release, and then we can just go and check what they actually did. Coinbase, company will hold the question and answer. Okay, this is like basically okay. Q&A, webcast, shareholder letter. Coinbase, letter to shareholders. Okay, so this is the first time I look at Coinbase, by the way, in terms of how they release their earnings. So I'm not fully aware how they divide or how they split their segments, So I'm gonna be checking this with you. I have to tell you something about, by the way, every time you read a letter like this, or you read earnings results, or you listen to the earnings call, just know that the job of the company is to sell you a great story. They want to show you that they're doing fine, and even though, let's say, the last quarter was bad, they're still doing fine and they will do fine in the future. Everyone is a salesperson on Wall Street, and then they're trying to show you that they're actually gonna, weather the hardships and the hard period. So basically, just keep that in mind once you read any report, and have always like this critical way of thinking when you look at results. Right. Okay, so Q3, Q2, Q3, Q4 21, Q1 2022, and monthly transactions users. Okay, monthly transaction users, MTU, basically they fell quarter over quarter from, I guess it's in millions, from 9 million to 9. Okay. So basically, from a year ago, they increased, but quarter over quarter they fell from 9.2 to 9. Trading volume, wow, look at the trading volume. It got cut from 462 to 217. Oh my god, that's like more than a half. Assets on platform, if you take a look at Q2 2021, it was $180 billion worth of assets, and now 96. But you have to take into account also that the whole crypto market got, in a very bad shape right now. There's the so-called crypto winter, where basically everything is bleeding. All the major cryptos are bleeding. So that's why we have also this cut in the assets on platform in terms of dollar figures. I mean, this is my best guess, and that's not considering people who just got out and liquidated everything or got margin called. Q2 2020. Okay, net revenue. Oh my god. Man, this is horrible. 2 billion a year ago. And this quarter they actually made only 803 million, and they lost $1 billion on Q2 adjusted EBITDA. So for those of you who don't know what EBITDA is basically earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. Okay, this metric is used by Wall Street and by everyone. I also use it. It's not like a bad thing, but basically EBITDA shows you the core business, how the operations of the business actually went throughout the period you're measuring the EBITDA. Okay, so when you take the earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization, you basically see the core business, how it went. You take out the interest, you take out the tax, you take out depreciation. Depreciation is basically when you have an asset that depreciates in value every single year, and when you have such an asset, you have to report in your net income, you have to report the depreciation value. And basically this depreciation is not a cash expense. Okay, so the company is not losing, let's say, $1 million every quarter because of depreciation. Like, cash is not getting out of the company's piggy bank every quarter because of the depreciation. Okay, so it's not cash expense, but that's what's required by companies to do. They are required to report the depreciation value of their assets or equipment in the net income. So this is non-cash expense, and that's why we can talk about the balance sheet and about the net income, about the cash flows later, but that's why when you take a look at the cash flows of a company, you add the depreciation back. Okay, you add the depreciation back because it's non-cash expense, and amortization is the same thing, but it's for intangible assets. So even the EBITDA, they posted like a loss, $151 million. Cash and cash equivalents. Okay, so basically they had $5.6 billion in cash and cash equivalents for this quarter, or for the last quarter of 2022, 5.68 billion. MTUs, well, as I said, lower over quarter. Total trading revenue also. This is Q2. We're consistent with Coinbase outlook. Actuals, Q1 actuals. I mean, see, this is what I don't like about news release of companies. Sometimes they just add their own way of explaining their results, and if you're not familiar with it, you're gonna have a hard time to understand. I mean, it's not that hard to understand, but you have to just look and read on what they actually mean over here. Bitcoin price, peak, trough. So basically, well, this is the crypto crashes that we have. Wow, look, crypto crash. Well, if you're in crypto, you're not gonna be. If you're in crypto and you're like a veteran in crypto, you don't care about 50% crash, because as you can see over here, crypto crashes 94%, 85%, 84%, 74%. Well, it's a new asset too. It's basically a commodity, by the way. This is how it's defined by the SEC, if I'm not wrong, FINRA, I don't know who, but it's basically defined as a commodity and not as an asset. And well, if you take a look at this, 85%, 84%, 74%, but still it increased. The increase in value of crypto of Bitcoin is incredible too. Verified users have nearly tripled from 36 million to 103 million, which is amazing. That's a good thing. Monthly transaction users have grown 6 times, from 1.5 million to 9 million. Total quarterly trading volume increased 8 times, from 28 billion to 217 billion. I mean, it's not a bad company after all, but you have to be a believer in crypto overall, that it's not gonna go anywhere. And they basically also announced that BlackRock, one of the biggest asset management companies in the whole industry, basically cooperated with them. I'll try to find it for you. You know what? Coinbase and BlackRock, here, the first one. Coinbase may have a savior in BlackRock. Like after BlackRock here. Yeah, so take a look at the share price, by the way, when they announced the deal with BlackRock. So basically you had an increase of 53% in a matter of what? 1 day. The company is selling at a PE ratio of 8. There's a lot of negativity about Coinbase right now. The whole crypto market, the whole what's going on with Bitcoin, and it's understandable that investors want out. It's not like something unusual that you see a company like Coinbase, which is tied very well to Bitcoin, fall like this when Bitcoin falls too. Let's see, there are more results. Let's go through more companies. Roblox. Let's see Roblox. By the way, Roblox, Coinbase, all of these companies, they were like the hope of growth investors. Everyone was going crazy for these companies at the beginning when they first IPO'd until right now. Look, 59%, and then the company basically fell 64%. But if you take a look from May 10th, which like it was, the price was $23. The company basically, the stock basically went high. The price doubled, more than doubled, 100% from the bottom. So also Roblox missed on top and bottom expectations. So for those of you who don't know what it means when I say the company missed on top and bottom expectations, so when I say top, I mean revenue. When I say bottom, I mean net income. Okay, so every company on Wall Street, every traded company on Wall Street, especially companies that have this name like Roblox, they're known for Wall Street. They have many analysts actually trying to estimate what their earnings will be in the next quarter, in the next year, and they try to wow, I got distracted by the 17% dump after hours. I was talking to you and I saw the 17% down movement in the after hours, and I just lost my concentration. So basically what they do is the analysts have expectations for the company, right? And there's average expectations, okay? And then when the company posts its results, then we see if the company actually met expectations, if the company didn't meet expectations. I'll show you with Roblox actually how it actually goes. Let's go. See, it's trending on Yahoo Finance. I go to look, oh my god, 17% down movement and after hours. I love going to Yahoo Finance because Yahoo Finance has this tab which called analysis, and over here you can see basically the analyst expectations of the company, and it's pretty it's not that hard to understand the format of how they write it and how they present it. So I like going over there. So you have earnings estimates. Oh my god, for this one especially there's nothing. Okay, but you have revenue estimates. Okay, so over here it says that number of analysts for the next quarter are 10. Okay, and there are the average of revenues that the analysts are estimating is for the quarter, okay, is 684 million, and the low estimate is 641 million, and the high estimate is 733. Okay, but the average is, as we said, 684. For the whole year, for the whole 2020 is 2.85 billion, which is the average. And then you have 18 analysts over here saying that in 2023 the company will bring in on average $3.23 billion. So basically, I know that a lot of people also, when they make their own DCFs, when they make their own models, they take these numbers, because basically you have analysts that their job is to look at Roblox and trying to analyze how the company will do. They try to analyze what the revenues would be for the next year, for the next quarter. They have also their own connections. They call the company investor relations, and they contact with people, insiders over there, of course, on the level of everything that's legal, and they try to extract information as much as they can to reach their own expectations of what the company will do. And basically that's how we get these estimates every quarter. And that's why you see that companies sometimes even lose money in the quarter, but their stock explodes higher. Why? Because they lost less money than was expected. And if you're new to Wall Street, if you're new to the stock market, you have to understand one important thing, that the stock market is it's an engine that tries to price in future expectations of events. Okay, so basically you have companies that right now are selling for very depressed prices, and the reason for that is because everyone is pessimistic about what's going to happen in the future, right? But then suddenly you see and the company is, for example, heavily shorted. Heavily shorted means that everyone is betting against it, and suddenly you see they report earnings or they release some piece of news that surprises everyone for the better, and then you see the stock explodes 20-30% on the news. And this is how you get these surprises and reports. So basically, if the company reports better earnings, you will see that the stock will explode higher. And another very important thing to note here is that some companies give guidance. 90% of the companies give guidance on their earnings calls. Basically, they tell you, the companies themselves tell you what they expect the capital expenditure to be, what they expect revenues would be. They give you a range. And I don't know if you remember 2 quarters ago, Facebook fell by 25 or 30% even after releasing their earnings. And the reason for this fall was that first they if I'm not wrong, they missed both on top and bottom expectations, and they also guided lower than expected. Yeah, so this is basically it. Let's see Roblox. Let's see what they actually reported. Again, Roblox is not a company that I follow every day and I check on. But I mean, it's worth seeing because it's a company that it's an interesting company. It's not a bad company. It's an interesting company. Financials. Current report filing. You see. So let's do quarterly results. It's gonna be probably press release. See, so this is what I mean. Look, revenue is up 30% year over year, right? So if you are, let's say you don't know enough about Wall Street and you just see this company and this is the first time you're holding this company and you see that the revenue is up 30%, before you even look at the market reaction, you would cheer these kind of results. You would say, wow, the revenue is up 30%. This is a lot, for a company, even a company that's supposed to grow. 30% revenues is pretty nice growth. But if it was expected by Wall Street that the company will grow 40 or 50%, for example, then the stock will fall, as we saw, because as we said before, the expectations were already priced in, and when the company misses expectations, then the stock price fall. Revenue up 30% year over year to $591 million. Strong year over year growth in daily active users and hours engaged, up 21% and 16% respectively. Growth across DAU. DAU is daily active users, hour engaged, and booking accelerated in July. Okay, let's see. Revenue was 15. Okay, that's what we said. Net cash provided by operating activities was 26 million. Free cash flow was negative. The company is still burning through cash. Bookings were 639 million. Daily active users. By the way, when you look at companies like Facebook, like Pinterest, like Snap, you will see the DAU a lot. You will see this thing over here. You'll see the company talking about daily active users, and it's a very important metric when we're talking about platforms or when we're talking about Roblox too over here, because you want a company, especially a company that's a new company that expected to grow its daily average users count too. You don't want them to start plateauing or even dropping. I remember from my experience that when I invested in Pinterest, the big surprise was that daily active users actually started dropping, and then the stock got obliterated. I remember the stock fell probably 15%. It was over a report by one of the analysts saying that the company is expected to to actually lose daily active users, something of that sort. And the stock started dropping like a brick. Yep, 52 million, up 21% year over year. Hours engaged were 11.3 billion, up 16% year over year. Average booking. Okay, so basically revenue was between 2022 key metric estimates. We are driving record levels of user engagement globally as we execute our film. Okay. Current assets, account receivables, prepaid, for cost of revenue, long-term debt 988 million. No, like usually companies, growth companies, they don't have a lot of debt. So seeing that with like Roblox is something that I don't like. But of course, again, I don't know a lot about the stock, so I don't have any right to. Okay, I just see like an error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. I don't know what's this, but if anyone was watching or is watching, I hope you guys are, seeing well and. Let's go through more results. Let's go through Wynn Resorts. Shares of Wynn Resorts slipped 2.5%. Man, all the companies missed expectations. There's like not even one single company that I can see and I can say, wow, basically beat expectations. What is this? Okay. Let's go to Finviz and go through the numbers of Roblox really quickly. With growth companies, if you guys watched my previous live streams, I told you that the PE ratio is a good metric, but it's not good enough to basically decide whether the company is over or undervalued or fairly valued. And a good thing to look at when you're trying to see if the company is overvalued is to check the price to sales ratio. Okay, the price to sales ratio with Roblox is 13.22. The P is the market cap, and the S is the sales or the revenues of the company for the trailing 12 months. And this thing actually shows you how market participants are feeling about the company, whether they're optimistic or pessimistic, and how many dollars they're spending or they're betting on every dollar of sales the company actually has. 13 is quite high. Even 13 is high. You don't want this much of a price to sales ratio. And take a look at the insider transactions. Wow, insiders basically are fleeing the stock. 46%. Wow, okay, 6 months change for 6%. I mean, the company is losing money. Don't get me wrong. I don't know a lot about this company. I'm just looking at really surface level of analysis. I have no say whether it's over or undervalued. I'm just looking at these stuff over here and don't like it. Okay, let's see what else. Unity Software. Unity Software. Software stock. Okay, Unity is basically down only 2.5% after hours, but I remember the stock got beaten very, very badly throughout. Here, throughout this plunge. Look, Again, they IPO'd and the company basically exploded higher and reached an all-time high of 210. And if you see, they closed at 201, and they fell by 74% as of today, and the bottom they fell by 85%. But from the bottom, they actually increased 66%. So people are arguing, by the way, that we already hit bottom in this bear market. People are arguing that basically we're done with this bear market and now we're gonna pivot into a bull. And they try to, reinforce their claims by these moves in stocks like Unity and Coinbase and Roblox, where they actually explode like this 66%. It's a very big move for a company like Unity. Yep. By the way, I finished my research on Levi also. I wrote the article on my Substack and I'm gonna probably release it today. This is my model that I made. It's again pretty simple. I don't like complicating anything in life, and especially when it comes to finance, I don't like to complicate models. I don't like to complicate anything. So maybe not today, because we're already been like 30 minutes into this live stream, but maybe tomorrow when I finally release my research of Levi, I will make a live stream again and I will talk and explain about every single sheet in this model and tell you about the results I got, whether the company, in my opinion, is over or undervalued. For the people who want to know, in my opinion, the company is undervalued and that's why I'm long. But again, this is only an opinion and I can't be sure about everything I say, but you make your guesses and you try to make conservative guesses and then be right on these conservative guesses. And these conservative guesses, they're called basically having a margin of safety, where even if you're wrong, you're not going to lose a lot of money. Okay, so basically this is it for today. We've been like 32 minutes. Honestly, I like these live streams. I hope you guys are liking them too. This is the third day in a row where I'm doing these live streams. I feel that time really flies by very fast, and I think I'm adding value. If you also think that I'm adding value, please click the like button, and you can follow me on Instagram. In the description you will have the link and everything. I hope you like it, and I'll see you tomorrow.